And as we build that wall, as we build the things into our everyday life where we interface with other people who are not believers, or who are semi-believers, or who are anti-believers, that's where we will begin to get into the most brutal warfare that the enemy will bring against us. People will let you have your religion. Yeah, go ahead. Just keep it to yourself. Don't let it out here. Don't let me know about it. Don't wear a cross in front of me. That would be an affront to my atheism for you to have a cross on your neck. Don't say Jesus. You can say God, because that means a lot of things. But don't talk about Jesus. How dare you? That's the voice of this age today. And that's the battlefront that we will fight. But in our story from Nehemiah today, we will get some insight about that, hopefully, as the Lord leads us. So, chapter 3 of the book of Nehemiah, where we are now, if you remember right at the end of chapter 2, basically Nehemiah went out, surveyed things. He had the empowerment of the king of Persia to rebuild the walls and the city of Jerusalem, even though the enemies all around didn't want it to happen. And he went out and he surveyed the wall at night when no one was around, realized how bad it was, came back in and said, okay, guys, I'm going to tell you something you didn't know before. I have the empowerment from the king of Persia for us to rebuild this wall. And it needs to be rebuilt. Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, I could just imagine this was we have like 2 verses here that talk about it. But this was a time of them being encouraged and strengthened to, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah. This is what we want to do. And so chapter 3 recounts all of the different families and people that worked on the wall. Now, we're not going to read chapter 3. You are encouraged to do that later today. But we're not going to do that for the sake of time, because really it just basically tells you all the different people that worked on it and which part of the wall they worked on. And there's a lot of names. There's a lot of different people and so forth. But here, if you look up here, this is a map of Jerusalem. And this part that kind of looks like a little bit like Florida, maybe, with this long toe to it, or Italy and so forth. This is the wall that they rebuilt of Jerusalem. It wasn't a square, 4 sides, maybe 3 gates per side or something. No, this was the shape of it. And as you read through chapter 3, it talks about the gates, because that was a focus of attention. Rebuild the wall and rebuild the gates. And you'll find that by the naming of the gates, they basically, in chapter 3, identify, beginning right up here in the north eastern section of the wall, in counterclockwise motion, all of the section of the wall that was rebuilt. There's a section depending upon the different ideas of where exactly that wall was, because there are some disputes, and archaeology is still working on identifying exactly where it was. It was somewhere in the neighborhood of a little less than 2 or about 2.5 miles long of wall. So it's quite a bit. But here's what I want you to think about, and you can confirm this as you read chapter 3 of the book of Nehemiah. No one is named as a carpenter, a mason, an engineer, a construction worker, an expert builder. Not a one. Now, when Solomon built the temple, it says that the Lord put in the hearts of these great craftsmen and artisans and construction guys, put it in their heart that, yeah, I want to be on this project. Yeah, the Lord's given me the ability to do this. And all these experts came and built the temple. Not this time. Not this time. Here are the specific, careers, occupations of the people who built the wall. Priests helpers, goldsmiths, perfume makers. Women. This is unusual. I mean, this is heavy construction. In one whole section, it was done by a guy and his daughters. So what does this mean to us? Well, hold your place in Nehemiah and flip real quickly over to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. And when we were here Wednesday night after the study, just kind of hanging out and fellowshipping and talking, the Lord reminded me of this passage, and we were talking about it together with Pastor Dave and Mary, Krista and I. Starting to read at verse 18, chapter 1, 1 Corinthians, New Testament. And it says this: "The message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? For since in the wisdom of God the world through wisdom did not know God, it pleased God through the foolishness of the message preached to save those who believe." Did you catch that? Let me read it again. "For since in the wisdom of God, the world through wisdom, not the wisdom of God, but through earthly wisdom, did not know God, it pleased God through the foolishness of the message preached to save those who believe. For Jews request a sign, and Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified. To the Jews, that's a stumbling block. And to the Greeks, it's foolishness. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men." Now, we could take this application much bigger than just Jews and Greeks. Paul was talking about his experience. But he says, look, there's one group of people, they're looking for a sign. You come and you say, man, I know the way to heaven. Okay, what's the sign? Give me a sign. Prove to me that you know this. Do a miracle or something, or show me a sign in heaven, or make something happen, and then I'll believe. Show me a sign of this. And we will encounter all kinds of people like that. The Greeks, or there's a whole other group of people in our world who say, show me the logic of that. Show me the philosophy. Prove to me creation. Prove to me that the theory of evolution is not right. Prove to me that Jesus Christ rose from the dead through logic, through philosophy, through words, through the wisdom of this age, using the logical constructs of this age. Prove it to me, and then I will believe.